What if the life you were meant to live has been whispering to you for years, but fear keeps drowning it out? That is the power of The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. On the surface, it is the story of a shepherd boy searching for treasure. But underneath, it is a story about destiny, sacrifice, signs, fear, and the terrifying beauty of following the path that feels like it was meant for you. At the center of the novel is the idea of a personal legend, the deepest calling a person can pursue, and the only path that leads to a truly satisfying life. The story begins with Santiago, a young Andalusian shepherd who keeps having the same dream. In it, a child tells him that treasure waits for him at the foot of the Egyptian pyramids. Most people would dismiss that as fantasy. Santiago does not. He asks a gypsy to interpret the dream, and soon after he meets a mysterious old man named Melchizedek, who tells him that this journey is part of his personal legend. This is the first reason the story resonates so deeply. Santiago is not chosen because he is powerful. He is chosen because he is willing to listen. In The Alchemist, the call does not come as a perfect plan. It comes as a pull, a sign, a restlessness that refuses to disappear. Santiago sells his flock and travels to Tangier, only to be robbed almost immediately. And this is where The Alchemist becomes more than an inspirational fantasy. The moment he says yes to his calling, life gets harder. That is one of the story's deepest truths. Pursuing meaning does not protect you from pain. Often it exposes you to more uncertainty than staying where you are. Santiago has to rebuild from nothing, and he does so by working for a crystal merchant. There, he learns that growth does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like discipline, patience, and the courage to keep moving after humiliation. The novel also contrasts Santiago with people who abandoned their deeper calling. The crystal merchant becomes one of the book's clearest warnings. A person can survive for years without truly living if fear becomes stronger than desire. After earning money again, Santiago could go home richer and safer than before. Instead, he continues toward the pyramids. That choice is the dividing line between comfort and transformation. As he crosses the Sahara, he meets the Englishman, who is searching for the secrets of alchemy. Through this journey, Santiago begins learning something larger than ambition. He starts to understand that the world speaks through omens, patterns, intuition, and what the book calls a common language. The novel presents nature, spirit, and human destiny as deeply connected through what it describes as the soul of the world. This is why The Alchemist feels mystical without losing emotional clarity. It suggests that when a person truly commits to what they are meant to do, reality begins speaking back. Not always through miracles, but through attention, through timing, through symbols, through the strange feeling that life becomes more meaningful when you stop resisting it. The journey pauses at the oasis of Al Fayum, where Santiago meets Fatima and falls in love. For a moment, the story offers him a beautiful alternative. Stay here, stay safe, stay loved. And this is where the book becomes emotionally difficult, because The Alchemist insists that real love does not demand the death of your calling. Santiago must choose not between love and selfishness, but between temporary comfort and the truth of who he is becoming. The story's logic is ruthless. If you betray your deepest path, even love becomes shadowed by regret. At the oasis, Santiago also proves how much he has changed. He reads an omen in the flight of hawks and foresees an attack, helping save the oasis. He is no longer just chasing treasure. He is becoming someone who can read life more deeply. The final movement of the story is its most unforgettable. Santiago meets the alchemist, who teaches him to listen to his heart and to keep moving toward his personal legend. But the journey does not reward him with ease. It demands a final test. Captured by tribal fighters, Santiago is forced to prove a seemingly impossible claim, that he can turn himself into the wind. This moment represents everything the novel has been building toward. Not a magic trick, but a spiritual realization. Santiago speaks to the desert, the wind, and the sun, and finally prays to the hand that wrote all. In doing so, he aligns himself with the deeper unity of existence that the novel has hinted at from the beginning. This is the book's central transformation. Santiago does not become worthy of treasure because he wants it badly. He becomes worthy because fear no longer rules him. At last, Santiago reaches the pyramids and begins digging. Instead of triumph, he is beaten by thieves. It seems like cruel irony. But then one of the men mocks him by describing a dream about treasure buried back in Spain, in the ruins of a church with a sycamore tree growing through it. And suddenly, the entire story locks into place. The treasure is real. But to find it, Santiago had to leave home, lose everything, learn from strangers, risk love, survive fear, and discover the language of the world. Only then could he return and truly understand what had been waiting for him from the beginning. That is why The Alchemist has endured for so many readers. It is not saying that your destiny is conveniently nearby. It is saying that the journey changes you into the kind of person who can recognize your treasure when you finally stand before it. The deeper message of The Alchemist is not merely follow your dreams. It is more demanding than that. Follow the path that keeps calling you, even when fear tries to convince you that comfort is enough. Learn to read what life is teaching you. Accept that love, loss, waiting, and uncertainty may all be part of the process. And understand that the real treasure may be both what you find and what you become while searching for it. If this story still moves millions of readers, it is because it speaks to a quiet fear almost everyone carries. The fear of reaching the end of life and realizing you ignored the thing that mattered most. So the question The Alchemist leaves with us is not whether Santiago found his treasure. It is whether you are willing to follow yours.